Hello and I love you. My name is April. Thank you for joining me here on my channel. Welcome. I'm just going to shut off that heater. Okay. I have been stumbling with this message for a few days now. I don't know how to deliver it. This message is coming from an aspect of yourself that is still creating chaos in the inner space, that is still thinking it is in charge of the actions and the going-ons because it took accountability and responsibility for your survival when you abandon all other aspects of your being. There is, okay, I'm gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go with it. There is still a part of your inner feminine if you are a feminine, and inner masculine if you are a masculine. That is scared about the traumas you received, about witnessing the memory, about reliving the event that I got some geese passing over as confirmation. When you Page of Cups was just right there, like the offer of love, the new energy of an offer of love. King of Pentacles. I'm trying not to do this with cards. This message really doesn't need to be delivered by cards. This is where I've been tripping up on the message. Okay. So for me, as a feminine, there is still a part of my inner feminine child, one of the children, I'm going to put that in a plural context because as I've done this deep shadow work, as I've been reclaiming parts of myself, I realize how many aspects you've actually hidden each time you decided to choose another person's opinion over the opinion of your own, or each time you listened to some form of information that went directly against the moral value of your own soul. Ooh, this is a tough energy. This has been a tough energy. It has been very dark. The energy of the boy, the energy of my inner child boy that took charge when I separated from my inner feminine girl. So from that point on, I was in a more self-destructive pattern of action because this foolish boy who never had any masculine guidance, any proper masculine guidance. There was a grandfather and there was uncles, but these men were also perpetuating their cycle of karmic nature. So what I learned from my masculine peers was a chaotic energy, was false information, was not in the manner that a man would take care of himself or his family. This is the part of our soul at the moment that is screaming for attention. The inner child of the opposite sex of what you are at this time. So when, let me see if I can do this justice. When a feminine is in her masculine, and you see them all the time. You see them all the time. They're married. They have kids. But you question if they are actually marrying for... It's none of your business, but they display themselves to the public as what would be stereotyped as a lesbian woman. But they are married with children, and they are very much partnered with their man. But they have had to step into their masculine role. So the man doesn't provide as he should because he learned from the wounded generation previous to him on how to raise a family or how to whatever the fill in the blank there is. He doesn't provide. He smokes, he drinks, he gambles, he parties. He is in his lower state. He is in his wounded state. Therefore, she, in her wounded state, steps up as the provider, as what she knows she can be the provider. That's when a feminine is expressing in her masculinity. I believe these cross references of sexuality have nothing to do with us being in the right body or being in the wrong body, or being with the right partner or being with the wrong partner, or anything to do with a sexual nature. And I believe it has to do with our karmic imprint. It has to do with who in our family taught us how to beware. So if beware, not like, not beware, there's danger, like beware in our lives. So if our homestead was like the 50s tried to portray the stay-at-home mom and the work dad. So we witnessed a dad come home. I'm saying this because I grew up with grandparents as the parental role, even though my mom was living in the same spot. So my idea inside my head is that the man comes home and the woman provides for him. The woman does all the womanly tasks, and the man does nothing but get pampered and waited on hand and foot. This is a messed up idea in my mind because my aunts all had men that were boys. And that was my example. These boys lacked structure, lacked the accountability, the responsibility. They lacked leadership, guidance, what all of the XYZ that the masculine archetype is supposed to bring. So when I call upon my wounded little boy here, I have to bring him into a nurturing space of a feminine energy that I really have nothing to go off of but my own moral compass on how I want her to initiate contact with this wounded part of my soul. Who's in charge right now, creating bad eating habits and reintroduction of bad habits in general, drawing in the wrong people, or accepting interactions from people, places, or things that we have already overcome. Now, because I haven't addressed this aspect of my soul and it stays in there, hidden, dark, in the unconscious realm, I am met with these people that keep coming to me and saying they're one thing and actually presenting to me a totally different energy than what they say they are. This is how I get down to this problem inside of me. This is how I understand that boy, that wounded boy, that foolish boy, that archetypal hurt masculine child that never got nurtured properly, is who is in need of my direct attention immediately. And once I accept all parts of what he created in my life and how he helped me get to the place and space of being 49, even though, like, it was sketchy at times, there have been many times where he let's just say I feel like a cat with 9 lives. I feel like I'm the luckiest person on planet Earth for being able to be alive where I'm at this point. Even 5-6 weeks ago, I don't know, I was testing out my intuition and I wanted to try and go against my intuition to see what would happen, and I almost got in a head-on collision. But I believe that was him trying to go against my intuition, go against my inner knowing. It was part of my psyche that was trying to show me that, like, the feminine aspect is nothing to mess with. She knows what is happening up ahead, even if I can't grasp it in my humanness, in my humanness. So right now, this inner child portion, can I get a couple of cards for this inner child portion that needs some guidance from the Empress in me? Two of Wands. It's like a crossroads. It's a waiting game. It's holding the sun, which is the masculine energy. This is the feminine energy, holding the sun. I need to bring this masculine portion of goodness back to the surface with some juvenile trees. You know, when they plant all the trees and they're all needing assistance to grow. This is definitely something from the past that has you in mental constriction about your femininity, about what hides in that sun and in that dark. The sun is there in full expression. And then look how much of the feminine is there. Just a little tiny bit. And it brings you into a mature space where you can accept that your cup is overflowing. There's victory. There's victory here. And then we get to the next step. By addressing this sun, we add to our bounty. We no longer have the sun in our hands. We have another tree. And there are options coming towards us that magnetize to our light. So I'm going to leave this video here. I'm going to keep it really short. I'm going to keep it really sweet. Hopefully people will watch what I got to offer today. So this is encouraging you to go within, to address a part of yourself that is still scared and lonely, that is still creating toxic cycles within inside your own self. I've come to believe, like, it's hard. It's a hard thing. I don't know if we're really under spiritual attack or if it's just part of our own soul crying for help. That's a tough call. Whatever it is trying to bring in balance to the light and the dark. It is trying to bring in inner knowing. It is trying to bring in a high energy female into the mix. So these two knowingly understand how to nurture the toxic cycles within yourself and who holds those toxic cycles. What they're created from. I know what mine are created from. I've been excavating and it makes sense. Everything that comes up is making sense. It's a lot of post-traumatic stress. It's a lot of fight or flight or freeze or fawn. It's a lot of unprocessed, stuffed emotions. She doesn't have to look at this to know what this creates in your life. This prevents you from being in your highest state. I keep smelling some feminine energies if you work with deities, maybe you want to call in your deities and have them assist with your retrieval or nurturing of your inner beings. If you do not work with deities, you might want to start looking it up and see what kind of are you gonna go with the Celtic gods? Are you gonna go with the Nordic gods? Are you gonna go with Native American practices? Like what part are you? Where are you not native, but are you the other kind of Indian? Are you a true Indian? Like, do you who is helping you? Who is helping you get through? Who do you call on when you call on your spirit team? Yeah, your past. What you believed in the past about how love grew is coming into, there's a shadow energy that needs to come into balance about that. 18. I got a quick call on that number, a shadow. You intuitively know what to do. You will intuitively know what to do when you get into this space of connecting to your inner self. Deep meditation, guided meditation, whatever you gotta do. Your own dialogue, silence, walk in nature, however you do it. Go and address a portion of your own self. Apologize for not seeing how much they did in your life. Apologize for allowing them to man the boat for so long without even understanding they were the one guiding you through. They need recognition. They need acceptance. They need guidance. They need love. They need nurturing and caring to stop creating toxic cycles in your now moment. I love you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.